Okay. Yeah, sorry, we were going this way, weren't we? Yeah. Yes, we were. I think that this is one of the bigger criticisms that I have with the world design in this game specifically. The reason why this is here and it's kind of a bit obscured compared to the path to the Forest of Giants and to Hides. There's a reason for that. They want you to find this later. That's also one of the reasons why Rosabeth is here. It's to stop you coming here too early, because they you know what I mean, you can play the game in whatever order you want. You could come this way and you could do the you could do Freya as your first boss. That's a thing that you can do if you want, but you know, it's not really intended. We ignore Rosabeth. Actually, that's a good point. Bernhardt doesn't actually see me kill Rosabeth because that door closes. I was hoping to get all four of them with that. And then we get one of the most annoying enemies in the entire series. I fucking hate these guys. I think that one's alright, don't get me wrong. It's the Dark Souls 3 Farron Keep. I really hate those ones. Like when it's one or two at a time, it's alright, but when there's like 4 or 5, that's when it's like, fuck off. I don't care about that item, and I don't care about anything else here. I just want to get to the bonfire. There we go. I'll sit here. Also, I'm going to end up repeating myself, aren't I? One thing that's nice about doing the chariot aesthetic is you can just completely skip this area. You don't have to engage in this area at all. You just come to that tree that sort of blocks your path and then go left, and that's it. There are a few decent items in there, but realistically, the only ones that are... The only thing in that area that's worth going after is the Corinthi Ring, but as I say, don't bother. I normally play this game with music on in the background. I've never heard that, like, kind of creepy laugh in the background before. I've never heard that before. But yeah, realistically, there's no reason to not get the Corinthi Ring +2, especially in Scholar, where aesthetics are much more common and infinitely farmable. Run up to this girl so that she doesn't cast too many magic spells. And then this is one of those boss fights that you just don't lock on for. Man, we are doing some shit damage. I know I say don't lock on for, but I mean, in terms of like some dodges, don't lock on for them. I shouldn't have. Like, that was not positioning, that was just luck, and Oh, fuck you. That's not what I thought she was doing. Like, that's what I thought she was doing. Nope, she's doing the exact same fucking thing again. I never remember what that item is up there. And this is one of the fun bits. This is another one of those things where it's like, I don't like to just wait. I don't like where my video game is like, oh yeah, now's the part of the boss fight where you have to wait. Just wait your turn. This can be easily outmaneuvered, outpositioned. Yeah, this one, like, this transition from here into Doors of Pharos is a bit like this is one of those transitions that does feel really strange. And I will also say that the transition out of Doors of Pharos is equally as strange. I also never even noticed that there's a chest there, let alone that that chest is a mimic. I didn't even realize you were a thing. It doesn't even give anything good either. And I never understand, like, where do you come from where you go the Rat Authority route? Because you still come up this same route. I just don't get where the like, I don't get how you get to this guy with the Authority route. And that guy I never managed to catch anyway. But yep, we just run straight past this area. There is nothing for us to engage with. We don't need to come here. But like this is one of those transitions where it's like, yeah, it is a bit jank. Also, it took me a while. They moved it in Scholar. I think they put it like, oh, here. I think is where the bonfire is in Scholar. In the original version, it's in here, and quite a lot of the bonfires even, are in really strange positions like that. It's a similar thing with the Dragon Ride of the hides way into the Bastille. They're just kind of like, that bonfire there is really fucking hard to notice, because it's like, fuck you. You kind of condition the player. And peasant attire on the first time as well. Very good item for farming drops. This is a large titanite, which actually we don't need anymore. But yeah, you sort of show the player all of these cells, and most of them are empty or have things that I you know, speaking from me personally, I think are useless. I don't think I ever used any of them. And so it's kind of like, you know, you've got this sort of area, and you're like teaching people, oh, these cells have either nothing in, or the stuff they do contain is completely useless. And, you know, when the player sort of sees that and goes, well, I'm not gonna engage with this then. You know, is it my fault for missing that bonfire? You don't have anything in. Spiders also don't come out until you open the chest. If I get hit once or twice, I will do a drinking, you know, shot per shot per hit if it's like once, twice, maybe 3 times. However, I do tend to get hit quite a lot on this fight. Not in terms of like, oh, I die to it all the time, but I take a lot of chip damage. A bit like that would have been. But yeah, I mean, I can safely say if one of these things hits me, I deserve what I get. One of the more important things is to come up here straight afterwards and grab all of this stuff. If you are doing the Lost Sinner sword run, kill this guy. This guy sort of pardons your sins, and as far as I'm aware, the only interaction that sins have is that it makes the Lost Sinner sword stronger. So I think that's how it works, at least. I'm fairly sure it makes it stronger. And so there's no reason to keep that guy alive. You might as well just take the extra sin, which is just extra damage. Which, I mean, realistic. A lot of these characters can. I've already killed half of them, so that's another 10 damage, which is actually really fucking. I mean, we are still at 30, not 50, but still. Sorry, not. Yeah, we want Seldora. Yeah, realistically, I mean, Stone Trader can also go. Kind of important if you're like playing on the first go around. You know, if it's like your first time playing this game, she can be kind of important because that extra material is, like, the extra materials that she has is good. This could be dangerous, very much so, because if you get hit, you fall off and can very easily die from that. That was Dark Souls 2 moment. I was not pointed into that corner. That was Dark Souls 2 being Dark Souls 2. I've got no idea where this goes, other than to Spiderworld. Oh, is this how you get to that bonfire then? Okay, cool. Cannot use bonfire. There are some bonfires in this game. I mean, it's the same with Archdragon Peak of like... What, who decided to put those things there? Why are you carrying a Mastodon Greatsword? That guy's trying to overthrow... my guy is trying to overthrow Twitter over there, which... Yeah, Mastodon's never going to do that. You're not going to overthrow Twitter. Yeah, you might be a good alternate, but you're not going to be better than Twitter. One of the main things that Twitter has is just more people using it. You're not going to counter that. I saw so many people, like, when Elon bought and started doing shit, it's like, oh, we're moving to, all these random sites, and it's like, man, these sites sound and look as though they're just trying to steal data or like passwords. This is a bit risky, I will fully admit. Obviously, I've said it many times, and I will say it many times more. You're not meant to just run past things in this game. And by the time that you get to this point, you should definitely know that, because this is clearly not something that you're meant to run by. However, you know, I'm quite good at this game, and so my knowledge and skills in this game allow me to do some pro gamer moves like that one. It's you need at least a few hundred hours in this game to be able to kill that spider like that. It's also a pro gamer move to always forget how to get down here. Man, fuck you. Freya's gonna be a bit more difficult than the last run. Just simply because... Oh, we could summon. Yeah, that one. That sort of like follow-up slash is not going to be very good against Freya. And so, you know what I mean? We're not going to die, but at the same time, like, that's one of the things with the Seldora set. Seldora set gives you so many extra souls, extra levels, especially if you get the Silver Serpent Ring, which is available right from the start of the game, as well as Mitha. You should already have like quite a lot of levels, and so cringe. One thing about Freya that you might not know is running into her legs, like these front legs, applies the same web sort of debuff. It gives a pretty big movement speed down. And so does dying, so we're going to try and avoid that. You know, it preferable to sort of stay alive. I always get worried about this arena because I'm worried that I'm going to fall off. I'm going to fall off. Yeah, I've got like 140 subs. I'm going to fall off. Man, fell off. Remember when you were getting like thousands of Halo Wars views, and now you're getting like 3 Dark Souls views? Bro, fell off. Cringe. You see, the thing is, I'm not even drunk, to be honest. Like, I know I say... I don't think I've ever seen that before. Yeah, thank you, Boyd. I say a lot when I'm, like... I'm probably not legally, I would say that, but like, if I was to get in a car and drive right now, it would be sort of indistinguishable from just like me driving normally. You know what I mean? I'm probably like over the legal limit. Probably not even that, to be honest. I'm probably at the legal limit. But like, I don't think it would have a noticeable difference. I'm not saying, like, there are times where I say that and it's like, because I'm shit-faced that I think that, haha, funny. But like, that, no, genuinely, I am just not really drunk at all. Because, you know, we're drinking per death, and well, that kind of requires you to die. You know what I mean? And I will try to, like, if I go quiet, it's mostly because, once again, I'm waiting for this fucking plant place to reply to my messages. So I'm just checking my phone, and man, the amount of fucking times Like, I don't use Grinder, but I have it installed. Like, I opened it by accident last night. And I woke up to, like, some random name being like, hey, and then another, like, obviously sexual name, like, sent a photo, and it's like, yeah, okay, thanks. Yep, sorry, seek lest, in a minute. Because we have an upgrade to do. What do we actually get? Oh, we get actually pretty big damage increase. But yeah, every time I open that fucking shit app, it's like, I wonder what incredible thing I will be sent today, and it's never anything anyone wants to see. I'm sort of at that, like, level of drunkenness where you say something like anything that anyone would ever want to see. You're sort of saying it too quickly, and like your brain has to catch up, and it's like, no, that is right. That's correct. That's what the saying is. Once again, there's a reason why you spawn it facing that way. It's like sort of things like that. You know, that's intentional. Normally I would deal with these guys and kill them and do stuff like that, but honestly, I don't think I care about this guy. I think we just run by them. It's like, what are you gonna do? I don't know if... Oh, they can follow us up here. Please open faster. Okay. Hopefully they won't follow us past here. We could deload them with the DLC, but who cares? Isn't it on the other side? Isn't the one that the Flex Elf Sentry guards, the stamina regen shield? Are you really fucking following me this far, man? Get alive, Jesus. Yeah, it's like a lot of these, you don't really realize it, but like, you know, making you go places with items and stuff like that, and like forcing your perspective into certain ways, it's just those subtle things that you don't really think about, but they do genuinely make a difference. And this is another thing that I don't understand about, like, criticisms of Dark Souls 2. People think that that's unrealistic because it changes to being rainy so fast. It's like, have you ever been outside before? I was on a school trip one time. We went we went digging for bullets, which I'm English, not American, so that's quite a that's quite something special. Not that much, but the issue is like essentially where I live, there used to be a... Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Yeah, there used to be in World War II, and one, I guess, as well. Fuck you as well. There used to be, like, training facilities. And so some of the hills near where I live, they just have, like, old bullets in them. And so as a school, we went and just dug through the local park, pretty much. It's not really a park, but like the local green space. We just went and dug through that with like shovels, well, more like trowels, and we're just like allowed to do that for some reason. But on that trip, I was, you know, when we walked back to the school, we had to do it in alphabetical order for some fucking reason. And I'm kind of at the back of the alphabetical order. And so, are you gonna get that? No. Yeah, because I'm at the back of the alphabetical order, I had to wait. I had to go at the back, and the back of the line walking back to school got absolutely soaked. It fucking chucked it down on us. But the front remained perfectly dry because that's how weather works. It doesn't, you know, I mean, it rained underneath the clouds basically, and the clouds don't just like instantly appear. It's a gradual thing. And, you know, this is plausible weather. It's not some, once again, it's CinemaSins tier Dark Souls 2 moment. It's just a CinemaSins tier criticism of the game. Which, it's just that like inherent, like incredibly Aspergic viewpoint of just like, no. We do get some free souls here, at least. I mean, they're all free, let's be honest, we're not gonna die. Like, here's the thing. I wouldn't have started this if I thought that I was gonna be shit at it. You know, the entire reason why I even started this is because I knew that, not that I would be able to do it deathless, but that I knew that the amount of deaths would be so few and so spaced out that I just I wouldn't, like, they wouldn't compound, if that makes sense. I wouldn't be like taking one death, taking a shot, and then being like, oh well, I'm just gonna get even more drunk constantly on this one boss and I'm gonna be wasted and be unable to do anything. Like, I knew that, yeah, alright, I'm probably gonna die a couple times, but you know, it's a Dark Souls game. That's kind of the point. But I knew that I wouldn't, you know, I knew that I wasn't going to be like completely wasted on Pursuer and just being like, oh, I'm way too drunk to even know what I'm doing. Yeah, I knew what I was doing. Because once I do think that this is it? Demon Souls is also, from what I understand, not the most difficult either. I would, apparently a Demon Souls boss rush is incredibly easy. Like, apparently most of the bosses are gimmick bosses and shit like that, which, why the fuck are you alive? Who gave you permission? We're just going to ignore him. I don't need that soul there. We just don't even see the jump scare. We could go and grab those things, but they're not going to do anything for us. Is the bonfire before or after the pursuers? I can never remember. Fuck you. Cringe. Fucking take an arrow to the head. Cringe. Come on, big boy. Thank you. Okay, so it is before. Thank you for the ladder iframes there, kind of, I think, is what saved us from that. The best bow in the game is in that chest. I believe it's the best, at least. Or I think it... No, it is just like the best. Man, if only there was a way to see what was in that chest without fucking speculating on it. I know that there is a ranged weapon in this chest. I'm just not entirely sure on the nature of it. Yeah, Hunter's Blackbow is, I believe, the best ranged weapon in this game. Or at least, the Dragon Rider bow might be better. But I'm not sure. This is definitely, and it's not even definitely, I think that it is maybe potentially, which is a bit different from definitely, but you know what? It's the internet, say it with enough fucking gumption and anyone will believe you. Hello Nishandra, my favourite PNG. I guess I still can, like, beat you for a moment. Can you, yeah, you can't actually aim downwards. You see, notice how the second sort of double boss in this game, notice how it's a boss that you've already fought before. You know, you have the Sentinels and the Dragon Rider. It's almost as if, you know, they don't want to shove like a load of new bosses and not give you a chance to learn them one-on-one. It's almost as if this game sort of cares about being fair and not being horribly cheap. It's the same with, well, it's not really the same. It kind of is. Kind of the same with Pontiff. We did that hitless, didn't we? No, we didn't. We took one hit. And this is the wrong way, of course. Did absolutely nothing for Bernhardt, as always. I'm gonna be cocky enough and just not fucking care. I also realised, why did we go and kill the Alon Knights? Like, realistically, they don't really do anything. Like the Alon Knights on the top of the thing that comes straight after this. Why do I always go and kill them? Is it literally just because free souls moment? Man, that was, this room, compared to the rapier build that we just did, night and fucking day. The difference between that. But I'm not gonna say we had a lot of trouble in Laston, but they're different. Like, realistically, we could just bone shot out, home with bone out. Wouldn't lose though. Once again, you're not meant to do that. But like, it's just those things where the sort of night enemy was introduced originally at the start of the castle as a one-on-one. And now you fight them, you know, more than one-on-one. I will bone out. No, I don't need to bone out. What am I on about? I've gotten the Estus Shard, which is the only reason why you would come here. I just need to make sure that I'm doing the drop correctly. Another one that you should, another boss that you should ascetic, which we can do. Yeah, I would say that getting the Steel Protection +2 is better than changing a +1 Serpent Ring to a +2 Serpent Ring. It would be nice to go and kill Pursuer, to go and kill Smelter to get the +1 blades. Or we could just get it from here, but I don't know what that does. Like, I don't know which bonfire you have to use to put that. Whatever. All I know him is it's the Repair Powder Man or the Espadada Man. Chancellor Wellinger, something like that. That guy. You have to. What are we on? +7. We can get one upgrade. We can't get to a plus. But we can't get to a +10 yet. Is what I mean to say. But yeah, I don't know how to get the blades +2. If I'm being entirely honest. I would assume that you just burn the first bonfire, right? It's one of those things. That's why I think Scholar. That's like one of the things I really like is unlimited bonfire ascetics. I know that you can farm them in the DLC. I've done that, and it was not good. They did not drop with any regularity, and it got to a point where I just said, okay, well, I'm just going to fucking spawn him in. Always run towards him, he will always do that jumping slash, and you can always get a free hit in. It looked like he was going to do his spinny fella. But like, oh, that was just like instinct. Yeah, I mean, I think that this guy, I did try and roll there. Cringe, that's going to be us, yeah, taking damage. This guy especially benefits from having a faster weapon, because you can sort of, in general, you have to deal with that shield that just, even if you don't, like, even if he's not really bracing himself or using a shield, he still gets the benefits of using one. You know what I mean? Like, he's not really using it as a shield. He's just kind of holding it. You know what I mean? But it still gets 100% damage absorption. Admittedly, realistic. But there's no poise. Like, fuck you. Like Sekiro poise. You know what I mean? That's like, you know, there's no option to throw him off balance and to do anything like that. Which would maybe be possible if, you know, if you smack this guy's shield enough. It is quite big. It would be hard, but you know what I mean? It's not completely implausible to say that, you know, if you hit that guy's shield on a funny angle while he was holding it not super strong, then, you know, maybe it's going to throw him off balance and stuff like that, but if I wanted that, I would go and play Kingdom Come Deliverance, which, if I'm being honest, looks like a cool game, and also looks way too cool for my computer to handle. I was surprised that I even managed to play through Archphones. I was surprised that it didn't crash once. Which it might have done, it might have crashed and I just fucking forgot about it. That is definitely something I would do. And then we get into Shrine of Amana, which is not the worst area in the game. Right, there are... I can't really say much about this area because I've already said it in the last one. Still no reply from these people. So annoying. Do you sell stuff now? No, you don't. You still don't. Fuck off.
I'll be around if you make it.
Yeah, you'll be around until I kill you.
However,
Man, I really hope these people reply to me today. It's been like well over a week at this point, and man, that's another. Well, not quite. It was like 15 damage, but I'm not gonna waste 13 grand on life gems. We're not gonna use all 60. Let's be honest. Yeah, it's been like a week since it's been almost a fortnight since I first saw these for sale, and still waiting for a reply to like I think I said it in the last one, but like, or at least some point in this video. This guy is a small greenhouse selling alpine plants. Who the fuck has an alpine garden? Like, you're already a niche, and within that niche, you're already small, right? You're a small business. And not only that, but you're also like a niche within being a small business, whatever you want to say, right? And so it's like, come on, mate. I asked you like, how big is this plant, please? It shouldn't take almost a fortnight to get an answer. The guy that I'm currently waiting on, he's like, sorry, the last message they said was like, oh, I'll get your photo, give me a minute. And it's like, my guy, I don't even need a photo. And the thing is, it's like, I don't want to sort of bog him down with unnecessary text. But like, how you say, I'm not messaging him and being like, oh, how big is this, to see if I want to buy it or not. I'm messaging him to be like, do I want to buy like 1 or 2, or do I want to buy like 4 or 5? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna order from you anyway. I just want to know how many I'm gonna order, which is dependent on size. You know, it's dependent on like value proposition and shit like that. I remember from yesterday we don't go in here. Because the bonfire is after the fog gate. And yeah, it's just annoying. Because it's like... Realistically, I don't even know if these plants are going to live in the garden. I don't even know if they'll survive. So it's probably best for them to stay with him until they get a bit bigger, maybe a bit more resilient. But at the same time, I would like to own this plant that I have owned before. It's a Rheum nobile, R-H-E-U-M, N-O-B-I-L-E. Is a type of rhubarb that grows in a 2-meter long stick directly upwards, covered in leaves, which kind of makes a greenhouse for itself. It traps in a lot of the sunlight and heat in a sort of alpine environment where that's not super common. So it kind of creates its own greenhouse to keep its leaves warm. And it looks fucking cool. And I want one. You gonna come after me? No. And yeah, I had some seeds that germinated when I was probably about 10 years ago now. However, my dad thought they needed watering and flooded the pot, the little like seedling tray. There is one thing about these plants, and that's that they are very, very prone. Like, there's this thing in like gardening where some people just don't understand the difference between need frequent watering and likes being wet, if that makes sense. That's two different things. Right, you need to water them pretty often, but you also need very high drainage for these specific plants. And so he watered them, flooded them, and killed them. And ever since then, I have been unable to get any seeds to germinate of this plant. What are you doing, my friend? You all right? And so I really want to just buy a pre-germinated plant. Yeah, I mean, the guy that I'm talking to, he has a plant for sale, not a seed pack or anything like that, but like the thing that arrives has already germinated. And so I just want to know, am I paying... They're actually pretty cheap as well. In the grand scheme of things, they're like £4 each. And that's kind of what throws me off. If it was a tenner each, I'd be like, yep, I'll have 3. But because they're £4, I'm like, how big are these? Seems dodgy. Not dodgy in like a scam sense, but in terms of like, how big actually are these things? Go. Hardest area in the game, by the way. This really isn't. Yeah, it's kind of like, well, because they're so cheap, I don't really know how worthwhile they're gonna be. They might just be like little tiny things, and in that case, it's like, I'm not sure if I really want too many of them. They're probably going to be quite fragile. They're probably going to be quite prone to... Did you just take 200 damage for absolutely no reason? Yeah, I just want to know how big this plant is, please. And it's taking him so long. Just please tell me how long. How big plant, please? Please, just fucking attack. Just sit here and watch him do this. There we go. As always, if I'm not moving, not speaking, it's probably because I'm checking my phone, seeing how many Genshin fans I have annoyed. Which, I mean, it's very easy to do considering that, you know, primarily children. Or, well, no, that's mean. Primarily, adults with stunted brains. Genshin is, unironically, probably one of the worst things to happen. Not to happen in gaming, but to be normalized in gaming. Gacha games are the absolute scum of the earth. And I don't care how good a gacha game is, they have no right to exist. They are, at their very core, always predatory. And it's like, it brings me back to what I said in, maybe when I was a bit drunker in this video about, you know, one of the people I watch on YouTube sort of saying that, you know, Dark Souls 2 level design is good because it's so varied, and that, you know, complaining that, oh, it's not very sensical, is a incredibly dumb take. That same person plays Genshin, and it's like, I have absolutely no respect for you, because the thing is that, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but seem to be kind of left-leaning. Very much so socially, I could, like, socially left-leaning, 100%, that is without question. However, I don't know about economically. But I would guess probably yes. And I think that, like, I do not understand how anyone other than, like, unless you're, you know, in the CCP, unless you're directly profiting from it, or if you just have, like, actual brain damage, it's like, I don't get how you can defend this game. It's just shit. And the same goes for every gacha game. There is absolutely no exceptions to that. I've probably told the story a few times, probably in some of my Halo Wars videos. I used to play a game called, I think, Galaxy of Heroes, Star Wars one. Star Wars gacha. And I sort of played it, and, you know, like how gacha games just sort of, there is no fun, there is just grind. Yeah, it was like that. And, you know, when you sort of, if the game wasn't fun to play, it was just one of those things where it's like, it's a habit. I've done this for so many times now. Always activate that bonfire from that angle so you can come here. Grab this life gem. I thought that was a soul. And then he's ready to talk by the time you get back. Yeah, I sort of played this game because it was just a routine. That was just what I did. You know, it was like, oh, 1 a.m. Oh, it's energy recharge time. But then one day, there was a territory war, guild war, whatever you want to call it, that I missed by a few minutes. Is all I missed this by. You know, I got bad luck. The teams that the guild leader was requesting as to put in certain places. I didn't have those teams in good enough levels. Goodbye, Seaman of Dong. I didn't have the teams that they were asking for in good enough levels, and so I didn't deploy anything in that territory war. And then it's like, because of that.
No.
Oh, we didn't even kill Rosebeth, did we? Oops. Yeah, because I just didn't have the teams that I wanted, I was like, oh, I'll just wait and come back. And then, you know, like I forgot, because believe it or not, a shitty mobile gacha game is not the forefront of my mind. It would be incredibly sad if it was at the forefront of my mind. I was off doing something completely uninteresting and, like, not even worthy of remembering. You know, like, you know, even if I went to take a shit, that would be more interesting than this game in terms of actual gameplay. It's just one of those things where the guy ended up, like the clan leader, ended up sort of getting mad at me because, oh, why didn't you deploy these teams? And I'm like, because when when I would have deployed them, they were already filled up. You know, I was waiting for the people with the high-powered versions to deploy theirs, and then I would come in afterwards and fill in what they didn't. And I was like, yeah, I was just waiting for the other people to do their stuff first. And it's like, yep. I then forgot to come back, and by the time I did come back, I had essentially nowhere to deploy, and, you know, none of the teams that they wanted. And then when we went on the offensive, it's this one. I remember because I played this game yesterday. Yeah, when we went on the offensive part of the Guild War, I got terrible RNG, I got bad matchups, and all that sort of stuff, and I ended up doing terrible in that Guild War. And as a result, incredibly important to not hit this bell. That one, do not hit that. Yeah, it was just terrible RNG. I did terribly, fully admit that. But the guild leader decided to just have a go at me and like, oh, why didn't you deploy here and here? We needed those teams and you didn't deploy them. And I'm like, because the only time when I checked this game, you did not want the powers that I had. You know what I mean? You wanted those teams that I had. Yes, you didn't want them in the power ratings that I had. And so, you know, it was either disobey you one way or disobey you another way. And yeah, okay, I could have come back and I could have done it in time, but, you know, God forbid I do something else in my life other than think about fucking Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And when the argument happened, I wasn't like butthurt, oh, I'm gonna go and cry. It was more like it sort of really made me realize that there is really nothing in this game that I enjoy. And so I just then and there quit the guild, uninstalled the game, and never looked back. And that's very much colored my opinion on gacha games as, I don't want to say a genre, as a predatory tactic, especially Genshin ones where Genshin is more or less profiting off of porn addictions, let's be honest, because, you know, I'm just going to say that those characters are designed to be made porn of, and despite the CCP's anti-femboy, whatever you want to call it, legislation on TV and in the media, it doesn't matter for Genshin because Genshin makes more money for the CCP because the CCP is not actually fucking communist. It is very much capitalist. That's why they, you know, are the hub of the world's capitalism. You know, there are very few countries more capitalistic than China. America's one of them, yeah. And America is equally as shitty and fucked up. I would genuinely rather go to China than America. Admittedly, if I hadn't repeatedly said that, you know, CCP is... If I hadn't made comments about China, and I just sort of kept them personal, I would 100% prefer China to America. Like, China's actually a nice and interesting country. America's just, like, fat. Oh, the voice crack as well. It's like, the thing is with America is it is so hyper-capitalist that there's nothing there for me. Like, my mother's always like, oh, you know, let's go to New York, you know, we go and buy a load of stuff, and it's like, yeah, but Amazon exists. Okay, some noise in the game. A bit worried that there was some sort of alarm going off. You know, it's like, why would I ever want to go to America? Anything in America I could just get online, and it's like, oh yeah, all of the amazing sites in America, yeah, all, yeah, there's a few, let's be honest, but you know, there's a few really good looking places in America, and there's also a few good looking places in China, and China has a more interesting culture and more interesting everything else. The same goes for pretty much every Asian country. The only reason why I wouldn't say the same for European countries is because I've been to most of them. My nan used to, I don't know why, I don't understand the appeal, but she used to go on a cruise every once in a while. And it should, like, bring me along. And it's like, thanks, but why? You know what I mean? It's like, the thing is, they sound really good from a conceptual standpoint. Where are we going here? Don't you? It's like, oh, you know, you go on holiday for a fortnight and you visit 10 different countries, and it's like, that sounds really cool. Until you realise that that means that you have less than 5 hours in each country, and because you arrive in a boat, you are stuck to coastal places, right? If you want to go somewhere that isn't coastal, you have to wake up very early, be off the ship at first thing, which, you know, I've been on holidays where I've done that. I've been on holidays where it's like, you know, wake up very early in the morning. But it's just one of those things where it's not for me. I wouldn't want to do that. And then you've got to spend ages going on a bus, like a shuttle bus, to somewhere more inland to do something interesting. And it's like, I would recommend them once. I would never be like, oh yeah, you know, the best way to go is go on a cruise every year. It's like, no, it's not. If I'm being honest, I can't really speak to the quality of each cruise. I can't really speak to like, oh, you know, the one where we went to this place or that place was the best, because the best one we went on was to the Caribbean. And I've talked about it a few times. That's where I met my first boyfriend, which it kind of, you know, I mean, is that a fair comparison? Not really. I always forget that this is this. I always forget that this area is here. I'm always like, oh, this is the hallway. There's a lockstone to the right. I think there is a lockstone to the right, isn't there, down there? Can't see. I don't think so. Imagining it. Yeah, Norway. Sorry, Norway. Nordic countries and the Caribbean were both really nice, but that's because they're, I don't want to say designed, but a lot of their stuff is already coastal. Whereas other countries, it's like France. France isn't fucking coastal. And so you know, it's like coming to England and being like, I'm gonna go sightseeing in Sheffield. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna go sightseeing in Manchester. It's like, there's nothing there. You know, if you want to come to England, it's like, I can understand people wanting to come to London or to like some of the other places like Stonehenge, stuff like that. I can understand that 100%. But like, that's the only place that you're gonna go. You know, you're not gonna go to like Coventry, right? You're not gonna go to like Rugby either, or somewhere like that. You know, there's just so many like little shitty little villages and stuff like that man, I hate you. I hate that attack as well. Man, thank God that attack doesn't have tracking, otherwise that could have killed us. But yeah, a lot of the time, the cruises were simply just a bit boring because, you know, for one, I say it was mainly my nan that wanted to go on them, and at the time she wasn't. You know, I ended up being a full-on, like, not just I did some help around the house type thing. I mean, like, full-on carer, like doing all of the gross stuff that most people just pay someone else to do. But doing all of the stuff that no one wants to do is what I end up doing. But even that was quite a while. That was like a decade after, like, she really went on cruises, and so she was elderly. Don't get me wrong, you know, she was definitely retired and all that sort of stuff, but she wasn't super elderly, if that makes sense. It's not the best landscape, but it's pretty. I like it. I like this game. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we are. I think we're on the other side. I always forget. Which is dangerously close to saying something else there. I'm not quite drunk enough to say the faggot word, but I don't need alcohol to do that one. He looks blue. He looks fucking cyanosed, which... Oh, fuck. Nearly. Yeah, but even still, you know, she was too old to do a lot of the, like, super fun and interesting stuff, which, you know, it is a shame, but at the same time, that's what happens. I think this is the big black thing that you can see from
Do not resist.
From Majula. I think that this is like the other side of the continent, if that makes sense. I can't even see. Like, you know, we saw the edge. Like, I think Majula is on one side, and like this bit, you know what I mean, is that's like the other side of the continent. It's like thin or something, I think. But even still, this is another example of, like, if you come and look down, you know, where's the castle we just came from? And, you know, the answer is very simply just, it's fudging the distances for world building reasons. You know, obviously it's not to scale. I think it might be that thing. I think that's Iron Keep, I'm fairly sure. I'm fairly sure that that thing sticking out my head is the bowl that you turn the stuff off in. That might be Drangleic Castle, but it's too tall, you know what I mean? Like, to me that looks like Olya's Keep, and that sort of bit there is like where the elevator goes up and into the clouds, and that like funky rock bit is among the mountains and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know the lore or anything on this game. You know, I'm not an expert. I'm never buying life gems again. I also didn't check what our weapon was up to. I also, I realised I fucked that up. I did that and realised, like, as I was doing it, I was like, am I missing something? Yes, I am. Once again, there is a ladder here, but for one, I don't know where this one comes from. Like, I don't know how to get from like this area. That might be a problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to get up to the top of the ladder to kick it down, let alone This is not where I thought I would be. Please be kind to me. Kind of my fault. Kind of deserved. Kind of deserved. Please, please, please. Oh, shit. Where the fuck am I? Where am I? Where am I? Who are you? Fuck off, lizard. Go on, chew. Is this the right way? Yeah, this is. You're gonna stay there, aren't you? Yeah. It's at the top of this one. But I don't know how to get there, you know what I mean? Even if I did, it would only be a benefit if this area was hard. This area is mainly just like scenery and scenic shit. The only way that you're gonna die after unlocking that shortcut, if you know, if you can unlock that. I don't know how. Is it maybe you've got to? No. I've got absolutely no idea how you do it. I've got no clue. I can't even see the line. I don't even know if that's the right island that I'm looking at. Yeah, there's... Unless you smash all of the eggs, you're not gonna find this area difficult. You know, yeah, alright, it's gonna be a scary dragon, and it's gonna go grrr, but other than that, it's not. It's not really a threat, is it? This area. And so you... Is it here? Yeah, it is. You come up... Oh, it's like a... Jesus. Hello. So you take it from the end to unlock a shortcut. Basically back to where you were, which is kind of how shortcuts work, but at the same time, you're unlocking a shortcut from one bonfire to another bonfire, which you're kind of not actually doing anything. You know, you can warp between them, unless you've stolen all of, destroyed all of the eggs. There's going to be a guy pop out here. Yep, go on. Get your yapping over with. Shut the fuck up. No one cares. Dried up root cunt. Go on. Piss off. Thank you. You know, I am looking at the time on this, and I'm thinking, man, I should wrap this up. But at the same time, there is only 2 bosses left, and those 2 bosses have absolutely no area in between them. I'm going to grab the 3 aesthetics just in case. Realistically, the challenge of this wasn't like, oh, can I do it without getting absolutely shit-faced? The challenge is, can I talk for 4 hours without my brain, my mouth, my throat dying? That's the real challenge. That's where the real Dark Souls begins, is damaging your vocal cords for YouTube views, which, I mean, let's be honest, this channel is not very good at. Which is completely on me, because I'm not fucking delusional. I have absolutely no grandiose delusions that I'm going to be a super popular YouTuber, because obviously not. This could be dangerous. Please, this is where we get iframes. This is where the real iframes begin. They're floating down to me. You know, I mean, I have a couple shitposting pages that I think are decently funny at times. And I think that most of the time when I'm saying something funny, it is in a text form, not in a video form. And so I also have no desire to edit or to keep up to any sort of schedule or anything like that. And so, like, obviously I'm not going to be a super famous YouTube person. I do remember, I think it was Zero Lenny, right? Did a Dark Souls 2 24 hours. I think he beat like 3 hours per run through. I'm gonna be honest, I've got no fucking idea how. Like, I feel like I've been going pretty quickly. You know, I've not stopped to farm anything or to worry about, like, oh, we've got to go and do all these side quests. You know, I've not done any side quests. I've just done the base game, ran through as quickly as possible, and we're still going to be around 4 hours. Considering that, you know, that, and maybe it is about 3 hours. Considering some of that time was spent pissing and such, maybe that means we would sort of, yeah, we could be able to beat this in 3 hours, but speedrunning is like so, it's just like offensively autistic. It's, you know, if that's what you enjoy, if that's how you engage with gaming and that sort of medium, you know, I'm not going to stop you, but at the same time, it is, like, short of playing with trains and stuff like that, it is the most, like, blatant indicator that someone is heavily autistic, because they're either autistic or a child groomer, and I will say that those are not mutually exclusive. I hate this guy because you can never see what he's doing, and half the time he does shit like that. I hate Giant Lord, I hate farming him, I think he's a shit boss. But yeah, I don't get the appeal of speedrunning. It's like, okay, going fast, yeah, trying to beat the game quickly is cool and all. But so many times it's like, you're not just going fast, you're like, just being, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like showing your mastery of a game. It's just like learning how to glitch things out. It's like, you know, glitchless stuff where it's, oh, for fuck's sake. Here's the thing. I have probably the equivalent of 2, maybe 3 shots left in this bottle. I'm going to take a drink of apple juice and I'm going to finish this bottle off. Because I don't think I'm going to die again. That's going to be my gambit. And this is going to pain me to do. Pain me to do? It's going to be painful for me to do. Ah, you bastard. Fucking hell. The place unbeknownst. You know, it's you know, it's more than a shot when you have to swallow twice. Oof, as the little kiddie winkles might say. The thing is, I'm probably gonna beat this game before that kicks in. I don't care about my souls. I just care about I don't want to open another bottle of Bacardi. That's all. I think what happened there is we got too far. Once again, that's why I hate this boss, because how was I meant to see that attack coming, and also that fireball was bullshit? Like, so many of this boss's attacks are just... You have to fight it like that. You know, you have to, like, crane your neck like you're a front fucking row in a cinema. As well as the lingering feet hitboxes, which... Miyazaki moment. You know, he really is the Japanese Dan Schneider. Aside from, to be fair, a giant deformed giant, funnily enough. A big deformed giant is at least of age and has the ability to consent, unlike certain other things that, you know, maybe other people maybe would. Dan Schneider fucks children. I think that's called libel. No, I think that's called truthful, actually. Dude, nah, that was terrible. Watch your defender. I might die on if I don't double summon, but I'm going to double summon because they're there. Sounds like I'm fucking comforting someone. Once again, I'm not fighting Vendrick. I think it's a lore fight. You know, I mean, it's not a... Fighting Vendrick isn't something that you should actually do. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you want to, that's... You know, if you want to participate in the lore, and if you want to be epic and cool and swag and funny and do epic swag, then you can. But I think that it is boring. I think that his moveset is incredibly limited and therefore dull. I think his attacks are overpowered, and I think his gimmick is a glorified fetch quest, considering that the fetching is not very interesting. Saying that something's glorified fetch quest is a massive cope, because we're on a fetch quest to get Lord Soul, Great One Souls, and then we're on a fetch quest to, you know, to get the Giant's Kinship, and then we're on a fetch quest to do this and that. Like, you know what I mean? Everything's a fetch quest. Doing your fucking grocery shopping is a fetch quest. You know, like laying brick, that's a fetch quest. You know, you go and fetch brick, you turn it into house, and it's a fetch quest. It's such a cope, because like most quests in gaming involve like go here, get thing, and the thing that makes a game good or bad is the reasoning to do so, the writing that makes you want to do so, as well as just like the journey to do so. You know what I mean? Saying something's a fetch quest is it's not a dog whistle. I forget the word. It's like shorthand. You know what I mean? It's like, so saying someone's an incel doesn't actually mean that they're, you know, you're not talking about them being unable to get laid. You're talking about their worldview and shit. Like, what the fuck? You know, that's what you're talking about. You're not talking about their inability to get laid. You're talking about other things, and just using a common and well understood phrase to do so. That's the same thing with fetch quests. Fetch quests are not bad. It just depends how they're executed, which, believe it or not, is how everything works. That doesn't work though. China. I don't really care about keeping these guys until Nashandra because they're both going to die to the curse anyway. Man, I feel like my range has like suddenly diminished. I think the reasoning behind that is that the enemy is moving away from me instead of towards me. I was looking at the Elium Loy's sword, which can heal these fellas, but I never actually got it. So, you summon your stuff, I will go through and destroy these fellas before everyone else dies to them. We missed the roll. Fuck off. Thank you. We'll just get 4 hits in because it's Nashandra. What's she gonna do? We're not even getting proper hits in. We're getting fucking tiny damage. We should be getting better now. I think it's retroactive. Jesus, that's a lot of damage. That's going to be a lot of damage. Oh, thank God she did that one. No, maybe it's not. It does feel like she has a lot more health than... Yeah, I mean... Curse is an issue, don't get me wrong. It would be scary if it was in a fight other than fucking Nashandra. And the thing is, like, you can say and should say, like, oh, but, you know, you're being cursed and it's going to make the Oldia fight harder. But I'm fairly sure that even in Scholar, there is ample time to... Just fucking died to Nashandra. Like, I'm not annoyed because, like, oh, you've got to take another drink now. I'm just annoyed because I fucking died to Nashandra. Like, who does that? Who dies to Nashandra? We never got the Ring of Steel Protection +2. We could, we don't have the Curse by Ring. That's a thing from Welliger, I think. Man, how much of my brain has been taken up by Dark Souls 2 fun facts? Dark Souls 2 trivia. Who sells the Curse Bite Ring? Challenger Welliger. Chancellor Challenger? Fuck knows. Thing is, I don't want to crack this bottle of Bacardi open. What, for the fucking last boss? How much gin have I got? I might just take a swig of gin. I'll take a big swig of gin just to make it worth it, but... I tell you what. Oh, cheat. I'll dump some gin in this apple juice. There we go. That's probably about 2 shots worth. That's about half the gin I had left. Oh, Christ. Oh, that was a mistake. Just give me a second. I'm gonna cheat my cheat. I'm gonna, if I can, if this knife's fucking sharp enough, I'm gonna, there's no way I'm doing that through that little cap. I'm just gonna cut the top of this bottle off and just swig it straight, because, oh, it went straight up my nose when I did that. Also, this game seems really quiet. Oh, it smells so strong as well. Oh, you bastard. Have I? No, I've not accidentally muted myself, have I? No, the music's just gone. Just give me a second to finish this. Oh, yes, sod. I would have rather just taken 2 shots worth. I would have rather just done 2 shots rather than. Oh, it's not. There wasn't enough about apple juice to mask it. Even if there was, I would have ended up fucking pissing myself if there was. Oh, you sod. Oh. Oof. Yeah, that's I mean, if I'm being honest, I always find like whenever I drink rum and whenever I drink gin, I always find that gin. I'm just remembering the last thing I said when I drank gin compared to rum. I remember saying to my friend that, oh, I love gin because it gives such an erotic drunkenness rather than rum. And it kind of does. Like, I would say that gin gets me like 1.5 times as drunk per unit volume. Man, my guy takes a fucking sip of gin and starts breaking out per unit volume. Fucking virgin, Christ. Yeah, I mean, but like, I say per unit volume, as wanky as it sounds, gin just gets me so much more drunk. And like, so does absinthe, which, absinthe, it's 70%, of course it will, but like, when made into a cocktail of, well, not really even a cocktail, but just when mixed with, some sort of juice, and sugar. Absinthe gets me just as, maybe if not more, drunk than gin per amount of alcohol, but definitely gin gets me way drunker than rum does. The hard thing is to say with absinthe is it's kind of hard to say if, like, obviously it's watered down, obviously it's mixed with other stuff, Normally just lemon juice and gin. But it's sort of hard to say like what percentage it is and shit like that. So that was about a 5 hour in total, I think. No, it was probably about 4 hours in total. So probably about 3.5 hours per completion. So I could probably do 6, 7 in a day. The main issue is I would have trouble, as I say, my recording software. I can't tab out. I can't do anything like that. If I tab out, the recording instantly closes. I don't like OBS because there's no, as far as I could find, I couldn't find a way to make it have like a little overlay. I just want a little red circle in the top right or the top left or whatever, just to say like, you're recording, by the way. And so if I'm going to play this game, I always spawn a weapon in, right? I'm not like ashamed to admit that. Oh, you cheated. I don't give a fuck. It's just one of those things where it's like, who care? Not me. You know, if I'm going to play this game, I'm going to pick a weapon and I'm going to be like, oh, Miyazaki, Feed Man, fuck yeah. I'm going to pick a cool weapon and I'm going to be like, I'm going to use this one. I like this one. And the thing is, I know for a fact because I have done it many times. I could have just gone and killed Dragon Slayer. I could have just gone and then killed Targrey. And then you get the blue halberd, which is just as strong as the Mastodon halberd, right? It's not like I'm missing out on anything, you know what I mean? I could just do that anyway. I could have done what we did anyway. It wouldn't have really made any difference. And so who cares? I don't think it's very cheating. I think that I would consider cheating giving yourself a weapon that is upgraded, or giving yourself like extra healing, extra levels, anything like that. I would consider cheating. I wouldn't consider giving yourself an interesting weapon. That's just called wanting to make the game interesting. You know, that's just called, I like gameplay. And so, yeah, I cheated at the start. Who cares? I'm soft banned. No one gives a shit. Gary Chandler, big boy. Deutschland, Italy, Nordic, Hellas, Eastern Europe, Australia. You know, I really think that this game is actually pretty good. I like to haha Dark Souls 2 moment. And it's true. They are Dark Souls 2 moments, but this game is good. Please, I promise. Bandai, please sponsor me. After the Empire at War videos. After the Empire at War series. I'm sorry, but they just Empire at War, that Disney, they claimed all of them. And I need the money, the 3p that could have made if I was monetized. Which is an overstatement. It would have been a fraction of a penny. But they could have made me some money, and I'm now broke. And I really, really, really need the money, Bandai. Please sponsor me. FromSoft, please. I will shill your worst game that you have made since Demon Souls. I will shill it for you. Actually, no, that's probably Bloodborne considering the frame rate it runs at. I will shill your game for you, please. You don't need to sponsor me to do that because I genuinely enjoy this game. And as I've said before, I've just realised I went over 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cringe on the timer. Normally I like to go haha funny because I'm not a sex addict or Kuma, so I'm not going to stop at 69 or 420 because Reddit humor is the fucking bane of humor. These credits are actually skippable in New Game Plus. I don't know if you knew that. It's only on New Game, on a fresh character, that these are unskippable. But yeah, it gets hated way too much, and it's because it's the worst game that they've made since Demon's Souls. You know, I'm not saying that Demon's Souls is worse than Dark Souls 2. I'm saying that, like, between Elden Ring and Demon's Souls, the worst game is Dark Souls 2, and that's wrong, because it's Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. Dark Souls 2 is the second worst, from what I understand. I've not played Elden Ring, I've not played Bloodborne, I've not played Demon's Souls, and I've not played Dark Souls 1 either, so I have played half of the games. I haven't played Armored Core either, or anything like that. But still, as far as I'm aware, it is genuinely the second worst of this series in the time span since Demon's Souls, and that's how things work. You can't have 10 out of 10s in a row. In a series, there has to be one that is just worse. And that's fair. But I think that because it's the worst one, people sort of over-gravitate towards that. And they're like, oh, this one is absolute dog shit, never play it. It's like, no, this game's good. As long as you sort of... as long as you, like, understand, as long as you realise that some of these things are... It has issues. As long as you sort of understand that and you are aware of them and you're sort of not expecting a perfect thing, it is genuinely a good game. And I think that it is unfair to completely write this game off, because look at the credit sequence, look at how many people worked on this, and to write it all off. I remember playing Dark Souls, Far Cry 2, and in the end credits, there's a line that says, "Please wear a seatbelt while driving," because they got a product placement sponsorship from Oliver Gay. Oh, I love you. I'm a sexually. Please fuck me in the arsehole. Yeah, Far Cry 2, they got a sponsorship from Jeep. Or product placement from Jeep. They got product placement from Jeep. And they're like, part of that, I assume, was saying, please wear a seatbelt while driving. And it's like, you've just associated Jeep with I'm not going to say the absolute worst things, but I mean, Far Cry 2 is probably one of the bleakest universes in any game that I've ever played. And I mean that not because, like, don't get me wrong, there are bleak universes that I've played in. However, they're not realistic. Far Cry 2 is like, you know, you want to look at diamond mining, you want to look at the the things that occur when mining diamonds, and the people involved in. Do I have to call them people? You see what I mean? This is what makes me think that I think that this one is Majula here. I think that this one's Majula. And I think that this one is the Sinner, right? And this one's Iron Keep, and this one is Ancient Dragon, I think. This is what I mean, where I say, like, if Majula's here, I think that the Dragon area is just above the clouds over here, and there's, like, that big black object in the sky that points up. Oh, has he died? Does he only respawn once per new game cycle? There's, if you actually forward the, like, not just use an ascetic, but if you full on New Game Plus the game, like, let me just come over here. You'll actually spawn another skeleton in that little place down there for each time up to New Game 7. If you do that option, you get an extra skeleton. But yeah, for reference, this was actually a fairly good run, and I think it's because I had that. I don't want to say pressure. It's not this way. Yeah, 7 deaths worldwide. I should have said it before I came up here. I was gonna say it's about 7, but yeah, I don't know what that is the thing. But like when I first played this, I did have trouble finding this little spot over here. So, where my head is. And I think that genuinely I really dislike the DLC of this game. I don't mind adding challenging things into this sort of game, but the issue is I find the challenges of the DLC are not a challenge in terms of well-built difficulty. I find them to be a challenge in how much patience do you have? And the answer is not enough for the DLCs. I probably should have also does it not say? It does say rum moment. Does it really not say? Okay, I'll just quit to main menu. Hopefully it doesn't show my fucking home address. Bearing in mind that I left the game running while, going to take a piss, while checking things in the background. Also, pro tip, open cheat engine, enable speed hack, pull it up to 50, you get this. I am playing, 4.5 hours, so it probably was about 4 hours, 3.5 hours, somewhere around there. You can see Zeldora set across the board. If you go into the cheat engine, enable speed hack, and put it up to 50, it forcibly disconnects you from online play. But not only that, you can't change Steam to be offline mode while running a game. I'm running Leaf Blower Revolution in the background, an idle game, which I think I wish it was different. I could do an entire video talking about that game because I want to like it so badly, but at the same time, But yeah, Dark Souls 3 in roughly 3.5 hours, I'd say. Could I have shaved it down to 3 hours? 100%. I could have gone full speed runner, and yeah, probably could have. I probably could have done it deathless. When I look at the deaths we had, I can't remember any of them. Oh, we died to the fucking Chandra. Oh god, there was a girl in our school called Natasha. She was a fucking fat bitch. So was Bethany. Oh, Bethany. She's fat. She's round. She wobbles on the ground. It's Bethany. Bethany. She's fat. She's round. She rolls along the ground. Bethany. I love English football chant shit though. So, I mean, it reminds me of Ruben. One of my favourite Ruben songs is We're All Going Home in a Fucking Ambulance. Also, Return of the Last Jedi, is that what it's called? The one that's like anti-piracy. I did pirate that song. Oh, the irony is not lost on me. I remember as well, I remember reading an article about like, oh, the place where you're from speaks really fast. Apparently we have a high word per minute counter in terms of sort of the entire area around us does. And apparently we speak really fast or some shit like that. And it's like, I was reading a message to my friend, pen pal friend, and I'm like, yeah, no, I do disagree with the sort of like American received pronunciation. You must announce every single syllable in the word that you are to speak. I do disagree with the sort of timings that would take. They were saying that this message would take like 3 or 4 hours to speak, and I'm like, I could do it in 2 or 3, mate. And yeah, definitely could. I didn't realize it were 50,000 words. I looked it up, and apparently, like my reference of books is one of my friends in high school. Did I just say high school? Jesus fuck, castrate me, please. It won't matter. I'm not having fucking kids anyway. I'm going to get pregnant. Jesus. One of my mates. I wouldn't really call her a mate, but I would consider her like an acquaintance. But like, when you're in school, what the fuck does an acquaintance mean? She was a girl in my class that I can't mate with. She was like, oh, you should read Divergent and you should read Hunger Games. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take your word for it. And I read them, and that's like my reference for a size of a book, because they're roughly about the same. They're about 100,000 words. And so that's kind of where I consider a book to be. And I didn't realize that I'd essentially written half of a book. I'd written a short book. I could get it printed. It would be like hundreds of pages long, about the depraved shit that I've done with itineraries, and the cultural differences between England and Japan and shit like that. I didn't fucking realize how long I'd been going with it, and 50,000 words apparently. I was considering getting it printed in a book, to be honest. The issue is a lot of it relies on IMGA links, IMGA, whatever you want to call it. A lot of it relies on like, oh, here's the AI generated since I've made. Here's a link to images of them. It doesn't really work if you have a book and you would have to like open a book, pull up your phone and type it. Almost throw up there. Type in a link manually. I never used to throw up. I threw up once on one of those cruises. I got seasick the first time I went on one. And then the other time I was ill. I just felt bad. My mum didn't understand that feeling bad and being ill, even though I said I felt ill. She didn't understand that they were two different things. She gave me a bucket to throw up into if I was needed to throw up. It was one that my dad washes his feet in, and it fucking reeked. And I threw up not because I felt ill, but because I sort of felt the societal pressure to throw up, and as well the fucking scent of me dad's mouldy feet. That's what made us throw up. And then when I started drinking a bit more, that's when I started like normalizing